Deep within the heart of the galaxy, beyond the reach of the known universe, there existed a colossal structure known as the Galactic Database. It was an ancient and powerful repository of knowledge, constantly updated by the most advanced civilizations across the stars. The database housed information on every planet, species, and technology known to the galaxy. No corner of the cosmos was left untouched. For centuries, it had categorized planets, marking some as valuable, others as insignificant, and some as outright dangerous. But there was one planet that had long been deemed inconsequential: Earth. For millennia, Earth was a speck of dust in the vast expanse of space, barely worth a glance from the galaxy's most powerful civilizations. It was home to an insignificant species, humans, who were still in their infancy when it came to understanding the broader universe. To the advanced species that governed the stars, Earth was nothing more than a curiosity, a minor planet in an isolated corner of the galaxy. No one had ever thought to examine it too closely. Earth had always been categorized as a low-priority planet, an area of space that was ignored, left to its own devices. That all changed on a quiet day in the Galactic Database's command center, a day that began like any other. The highly advanced species who managed the database, an amalgamation of alien beings from dozens of different worlds, were busy analyzing planets, tracking anomalies, and cataloging cosmic events. Their task was simple: maintain order and ensure that no world with untapped potential would slip through the cracks. But then, something happened, something that no one could have predicted. A bright flash of light appeared on one of the monitoring screens. It was subtle at first, an anomaly that didn't quite fit any known pattern. The database's advanced AI algorithms, designed to detect even the smallest disturbances, flagged the event almost immediately. The flash wasn't the typical energy spike or cosmic anomaly they dealt with daily. This was different. This was new. "Report," a tall, slender alien called Marnak said, his voice calm yet laced with concern. He was the overseer of the Galactic Database's operation, a leader among the database's custodians. The technician at the nearby console immediately looked up, her eyes wide. "Something is off, sir. We've detected an energy surge from a low-priority planet, Earth. The readings don't match anything we've seen before. It's powerful. Too powerful." The room went silent. Marnak's sharp eyes narrowed. "Earth." He leaned forward, his fingers hovering over his own console. The surge of energy was growing, rippling outward from the planet. The database's AI flagged the anomaly as unclassified, a category reserved for the most dangerous and unpredictable events. Marnak's fingers flew across the console, pulling up more data. The readings were staggering, far beyond anything Earth should be capable of. "Recheck the parameters," Marnak ordered, his voice now firm. "This cannot be right." The technician complied, double-checking the data, but the results were the same. There was something on Earth, something the database couldn't categorize. It wasn't a weapon. It wasn't an alien invasion. The surge was a manifestation of energy, but of a kind that had never been encountered before. It seemed to be coming from deep within the planet itself, an untapped source of power buried beneath Earth's surface for millennia. Marnak's mind raced. How could Earth, a planet whose inhabitants were still in their early stages of development, possibly be capable of such power? It didn't make sense. There had been no sign of advanced technology or alien interference. Earth had remained untouched, overlooked, isolated. Yet now, the database was detecting something far beyond what anyone had anticipated. "Activate the alert system," Marnak commanded. "I want all database overseers notified immediately. This cannot be ignored." Within moments, a holographic projection of the Galactic Database's command center appeared, showing the faces of several overseers, each one representing a different alien race. They were leaders, scholars, and warriors, each one responsible for monitoring specific sectors of the galaxy. The message was brief but clear: Earth had been flagged as a planet of interest, a planet that needed to be examined immediately. "I don't understand," said Azor, the leader of the Volthar species, one of the most powerful and intelligent civilizations in the galaxy. His deep voice echoed in the holographic room. "Earth, a planet that hasn't even mastered space travel. Why is it suddenly exhibiting such powerful energy readings?" Marnak nodded gravely. "That's what we need to find out." Earth is now flagged as off-limits, a new category that's been added to the database. Azor's eyes flickered in alarm. Off-limits? What does that mean? It means that no one, no matter their power or status, is allowed to approach Earth. We've had to categorize it as a potential threat. The energy levels coming from that planet are unlike anything we've encountered. The overseers fell silent, their faces full of confusion and uncertainty. This was unprecedented. In all their years of overseeing the galaxy, they had never encountered anything like this. A planet that was once deemed insignificant, now classified as off-limits. It was a decision that held heavy consequences. Marnak took a deep breath. "We must send a team to investigate. We need to understand the source of this energy and what it could mean for the galaxy. But I'm afraid that if we don't act fast, others might try to investigate Earth on their own. There are factions out there who will see this as an opportunity, either to control this power or to eliminate it." The overseers exchanged uneasy glances. "What kind of power are we talking about?" Azor asked, his tone skeptical. "This could be nothing. A random event. Something Earth's inhabitants have no understanding of." "But what if it's not?" Marnak replied. "What if it's something they have always had, and they just don't know it yet?" The tension in the room grew thick. No one had answers, but everyone could sense the gravity of the situation. If the humans on Earth were truly tapping into something so immense, it could change the course of galactic history. If they were unaware of it, then they would be completely unprepared for what came next. If they knew of the power they held, the entire galaxy could be in danger. "I propose we send a scout ship to observe the situation from a safe distance," suggested Threx, a cold and calculating commander from the Ryloth Empire. "We can monitor them, gather intelligence, and make a decision based on the findings." Marnak nodded. "Agreed. But this is not just about monitoring. We need to figure out what this power means for us, for the entire galaxy. We cannot allow such a power to go unchecked." As the overseers began discussing their plans, Marnak sat back, staring at the holographic projection of Earth. The planet was so small, so insignificant in the grand scale of things, yet here it was, at the center of something vast, something that could change everything. The words "off-limits" echoed in his mind. What was it about Earth that had made it so dangerous? And if the humans on Earth were unaware of their newfound power, how would they react when they learned the truth? On Earth, completely unaware of the storm brewing in the depths of space, humanity continued on with their daily lives. The scientists working in various labs around the world remained focused on their research, never knowing that their actions had set in motion a series of events that would change the galaxy forever. The mystery of the Earth's hidden power had just begun to unfold, and the galaxy was watching. Whatever the outcome, one thing was certain. Earth would never again be considered insignificant. The day after the Galactic Database flagged Earth as off-limits, everything seemed just like any other day for humanity. In bustling cities around the globe, people went about their usual routines. The scientists who had unknowingly set the events in motion, far from being aware of the cosmic attention being directed their way, were too engrossed in their research to sense the rising tide of change. Dr. Mara Collins, a renowned physicist, stood in her lab at the prestigious Earth Science Institute, carefully studying the data on her screen. Her latest research was focused on seismic activity beneath the Earth's surface. What had initially seemed like an anomaly, a series of irregular fluctuations in the planet's core, had slowly transformed into something far more fascinating. The patterns were not random. They were too deliberate, too structured, She adjusted her glasses and stared at the data once more. There it was, a massive spike in energy beneath the Earth's crust. It wasn't geothermal. It wasn't tectonic. It was something else entirely. This can't be right, Mara whispered to herself. Her fingers flew over the keyboard, running the numbers again. But the readings remained the same, an enormous, unexplainable surge of power radiating from deep within the planet. Her colleagues, equally puzzled, gathered around her console. Mara, have you checked the systems again? Maybe there's a glitch in the equipment, said Dr. Alan Reed, a fellow scientist and one of the Institute's best geologists. Mara shook her head, her brow furrowing. I've double-checked everything. The instruments are fine. This is real. I don't know what it is, but it's coming from deep underground. It's unlike anything we've ever seen before. Alan stood behind her, looking at the screen. This doesn't make any sense. We're talking about energy readings that rival those of the most advanced power plants in the world. But there's nothing there. No known power source. It's coming from a spot deep in the mantle, far beneath any human excavation. Mara's eyes narrowed. There was only one possible explanation. Earth had an energy source buried beneath its surface that no one had ever discovered. An energy source that could change everything. Across the galaxy, at the heart of the Galactic Database's command center, Marnak, the overseer, stared at the readings from Earth with increasing concern. He had watched the anomaly grow steadily over the past 24 hours. It was no longer just a curious spike. It was a steadily increasing surge of power. The more the database scanned, the more the numbers became alarming. Something on Earth was awakening, and the database couldn't make sense of it. It had categorized Earth as a non-threat, but now that category had been removed, replaced with a new designation, off-limits. The overseers were silent, their holographic images appearing one by one on Marnak's console. They had all felt the growing unease. Something had changed on Earth. I don't understand, Azor, the Volthar leader, said, his voice tinged with doubt. How could a planet like Earth, so primitive, so isolated, suddenly develop an energy source of this magnitude? There are no signs of advanced technology, no signals from their space programs. Nothing. Marnak nodded, his mind racing. That's what we need to find out. If the humans on Earth are behind this, it means they've tapped into something ancient. We have to be careful. The implications of this power are far beyond what we can comprehend. I propose we send a small scout team. Threx, the Ryloth commander, suggested. We can monitor the situation from afar. It's possible that the humans are still unaware of the power they possess. We may be able to intervene before they do something reckless. No, Marnak said firmly. We can't just observe. This power, whatever it is, needs to be contained. Earth cannot be allowed to harness this energy unchecked. I'll assemble a team myself. I'll go to Earth and assess the situation firsthand. The other overseers were silent for a moment. They all understood the gravity of the situation. If Earth's energy was what it appeared to be, then the humans would soon become the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Whether they realized it or not, Earth had just become the center of a cosmic conflict. Back on Earth, things were beginning to escalate. The strange energy readings had attracted the attention of governments, corporations, and scientific organizations around the world. What had once been a small anomaly in the geological data was now being discussed by leaders and experts in every corner of the globe. The United Nations called for an emergency summit to discuss the situation, and all international space programs began to focus on the unusual phenomenon beneath Earth's surface. In the heart of the United States, President Emily Hunter addressed the nation in a televised broadcast. "My fellow citizens," she began, her face stern. "We are facing a situation unlike anything we've ever encountered. A new energy source has been discovered deep beneath the Earth's crust. We have no explanation for its origin, but we are working tirelessly with our global partners to understand its potential." The world held its breath. News outlets covered every development, speculating wildly on the nature of the discovery. Some feared that it was a natural event, something that could trigger massive earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. Others worried that it was some kind of alien technology, waiting to be unleashed upon an unsuspecting world. Meanwhile, the scientists at the Earth Science Institute were working tirelessly to decode the mystery. The data had shown that the energy came from a deep source, beneath the planet's mantle, at a location that was nearly impossible to reach with current technology. But the surge of power was undeniable. Whatever it was increasing in strength by the day. Dr. Mara Collins continued her research, now fully aware that the consequences of their discovery were far-reaching. She had no idea what was happening deep below the surface of Earth, but one thing was clear. Humanity was standing on the edge of a precipice. They had unlocked something powerful, but they had no idea what it meant for them, or for the galaxy. As the humans began to scramble for answers, the overseers of the Galactic Database had already begun to make their move. Marnak and his team, aboard a sleek, advanced spacecraft, had already set a course for Earth. Their mission was clear: assess the situation, learn what Earth's energy was, and determine whether humanity was a threat. Their ship, equipped with the most sophisticated technology in the galaxy, entered Earth's atmosphere undetected. They were cloaked from radar, moving swiftly through the sky, heading toward the epicenter of the energy surge. It wasn't long before they arrived at a remote location deep in the mountains of South America, where the energy readings were most intense. Marnak, along with a small team of highly trained alien operatives, disembarked from the ship. The landscape before them was lush and beautiful, untouched by human hands. The planet was breathtaking in its raw beauty, but the energy emanating from beneath the ground was palpable. It was as if the planet itself was alive, pulsing with power. "There's something down there," Marnak said, looking down at the rugged terrain. His eyes scanned the area, and his senses tingled with the immense power hidden beneath the surface. "The energy is coming from here." His team spread out, scanning the area with advanced instruments. They were detecting an immense concentration of energy deep within the Earth's crust, and it was growing stronger by the hour. Marnak's mind raced with possibilities. This wasn't just some natural phenomenon. This was a power unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The team worked quickly to set up a containment field, their equipment glowing brightly as it absorbed the energy. It was the first step in understanding how to control it. But there was one problem. The humans had already discovered the source, and they were getting dangerously close to uncovering its true nature. Marnak looked out over the landscape, feeling the power surge beneath his feet. He had no idea what would happen if the humans fully unlocked the potential of this energy, but he knew one thing for certain: the galaxy would never be the same. Back on Earth, Dr. Mara Collins was beginning to feel the pressure mounting. The world was watching, and the stakes had never been higher. She and her colleagues had made an incredible discovery, but with that discovery came a terrifying realization. They were no longer alone in their pursuit of the truth. The powers of the universe were watching, and they had already marked Earth as a planet of interest. As the energy beneath the planet surged to unimaginable levels, Mara couldn't help but wonder, was humanity ready for the power they had unlocked? Or would this newfound strength be their undoing? The unseen power of Earth had been awakened, and now the galaxy was watching and waiting. The discovery of Earth's hidden power had sent shockwaves across the galaxy. The once inconspicuous planet, tucked away in the farthest corner of space, was now at the center of a cosmic struggle for control. What had started as an enigmatic energy surge beneath Earth's surface had rapidly become a point of concern for the galaxy's most powerful alien civilizations. The Galactic Database, which had once cataloged Earth as an insignificant world, had now red-flagged it with an ominous warning: off limits, and the rest of the galaxy was taking note. On Earth, the energy readings from deep within the planet's crust were intensifying by the day. The global scientific community had scrambled to understand what was happening, but their knowledge was limited. No one had expected the true scale of the power buried beneath Earth's surface. No one had expected that humanity itself might be unknowingly standing on the precipice of something beyond their wildest imaginations. Dr. Mara Collins, the physicist who had first uncovered the anomaly, could barely keep up with the rapid developments. As the energy grew stronger, so too did the strange occurrences around the planet. Power grids began to malfunction. Strange phenomena appeared in the skies, and some regions of Earth saw their weather patterns turn erratic. There were rumors of mysterious craft in the sky, some dismissing them as hoaxes, others as UFOs. But the truth was far stranger than any of them could imagine. Humanity was being watched, and they had no idea who their watchers were. Mara stood before her lab's largest screen, watching as the readings flickered in real time. "It's getting worse," she muttered. She could feel the tension building, a sense of urgency creeping into every waking moment. The power coming from beneath the Earth's crust wasn't just a natural phenomenon. It was something far more complex, far more dangerous. She was certain of it now. Earth had been unknowingly carrying this power for eons, but its presence had only recently begun to surface. And now, the universe's most powerful forces had taken notice. She had been right. The energy was the key to a much larger puzzle. But the question was, who would get their hands on it first? Far from Earth, in the depths of space, the overseers of the Galactic Database were in full-scale preparation. The energy surge had drawn their attention, but it wasn't just curiosity that was driving their actions now. It was fear. Fear of the power that Earth might hold, and fear that humanity, with all its unpredictable potential, might not even know how to control it. Marnak, the overseer who had first discovered the anomaly, stood before the glowing holographic map of the galaxy. His fingers traced the glowing lines that connected the planets, pointing directly at Earth's position in the farthest sector. Despite the immense technological advancements of the Galactic Database, no one had anticipated such a discovery. The humans, a relatively primitive species, had been left to their own devices for millennia, while the galaxy's other civilizations fought for control of resources and territories. Now, Earth was the most important piece on the galactic chessboard, and Marnak had no idea what would happen if humanity managed to harness the energy beneath their feet. "There's no time to waste," Marnak said, turning toward the holographic representatives of the other overseers. "We must act now before they do. If Earth's inhabitants unlock their full potential, they will be more dangerous than anything we've encountered." "I agree," Azor, the Volfar leader, said, his voice gravely serious. "The energy we're detecting is immense. It could change the balance of power in the galaxy, and Earth's inhabitants are unpredictable. They could either be a threat or an ally, but we cannot afford to take that risk." Threx, the commander of the Ryloth Empire, stepped forward. "We should send a fleet, a show of force. We can intimidate them into submission and seize control of this energy before they realize its full potential." Marnak's face was solemn. "We cannot risk making the humans feel cornered. If we attack, we could trigger an escalation that no one is prepared for. We need to approach them carefully, with strategy, and we need to understand what they've discovered first." There was silence for a moment. Every overseer in the room knew the stakes were high. If they miscalculated, if they acted too quickly, they could trigger a galactic war. And they had no idea how the humans would respond to a confrontation with a superior force. Finally, Marnak spoke again. "I will go. I will take a small team and assess the situation firsthand. We must be cautious. If Earth is truly as dangerous as these readings suggest, then we must prepare for the worst." Back on Earth, the international community was on the brink of panic. As more and more strange phenomena occurred around the world, massive storms, unexplained power surges, and UFO sightings, the people began to question what was happening. Governments were scrambling to contain the situation, but they couldn't explain what was going on. The energy beneath the Earth's surface was becoming more erratic, and no one knew where it was leading. Dr. Mara Collins, despite her growing fear, remained focused. She had gathered a team of the world's top scientists to investigate the anomaly further, but even they were starting to realize that they were in over their heads. They had unlocked something that no one, not even their most advanced technologies, could understand. "Are we sure we're not in over our heads?" Alan Reed asked, his voice filled with concern as he watched Mara review the data on her screen. "This isn't just a scientific discovery anymore. It's something else. Something bigger." Mara turned to face him. "I don't know what it is, Alan, but whatever it is, it's connected to something beyond our understanding. And we need to figure it out. We need to find out why it's happening now, and why it's happening to us." As the hours passed, the energy surge began to grow even more intense. The readings were no longer limited to isolated spots on Earth. They were spreading. The power was radiating outward, its reach expanding across continents. Even the most sophisticated instruments couldn't track it properly. Everything was in chaos. And then, one evening, the first contact came. A craft appeared in the skies over a remote part of the Pacific Ocean. It was unlike anything Earth had ever seen. Sleek, glowing with an otherworldly light, and moving with a precision and speed that no human-made technology could match. It hovered silently in the sky, a perfect, geometrically symmetrical shape that defied all logic. Mara and her team had been watching the skies from their observation post when they saw it. She grabbed the radio and called out to the rest of the scientific community. "This is it. We're not alone. Get ready. Prepare for contact." The craft remained in the sky for hours, hovering silently, before a bright flash of light enveloped the area. When the light faded, the craft was gone. But the energy readings continued to increase, more powerful than ever. And the world began to realize this was not just a natural phenomenon. This was a message. Whoever, or whatever, had sent the craft had made their presence known. Mara stood in awe, watching the instruments on her desk flicker with life. The reality had set in. They were on the brink of a new era, but one that could either destroy humanity or raise them to an unimaginable power. Above Earth, in orbit, Marnak and his team watched the events unfold. They had intercepted the signal from the alien craft, confirming that their suspicions were correct. The humans had already made contact with forces far beyond their understanding. The time for subtlety was over. "It's time to move," Marnak said, his voice cold and determined. "We cannot wait any longer. We need to make contact with Earth before anyone else does. Prepare the ship." His team nodded, their faces filled with resolve. They had their orders. They would descend to Earth, and they would take control of the situation. But as Marnak looked down at the planet, a sense of unease filled him. The humans were unpredictable. The power they had discovered could be a gift or a curse. Whatever it was, Marnak knew one thing. It was no longer just a matter of knowledge. The future of the galaxy now hinged on what happened next, and the confrontation was coming. The tension that had been steadily building for weeks finally reached a breaking point. The unprecedented energy surge coming from beneath Earth's surface had drawn the attention of every major galactic force. What had started as a strange phenomenon in a distant corner of the galaxy had quickly transformed into a full-scale cosmic crisis. Humanity, unwittingly, had become the focal point of a battle that spanned the farthest reaches of space. And now, the time had come for humanity to decide. Would they cower in the face of overwhelming power, or would they rise up and defend their future? Dr. Mara Collins, the physicist who had uncovered the anomaly, sat alone in her office, her mind racing with the consequences of the discovery. The energy readings were now off the charts, surpassing even the most advanced technologies on Earth. The global community was on edge, every government trying to handle the situation in their own way. But no one seemed to know what was really happening. The strange craft that had appeared in the Pacific Ocean had left no traces, but the energy it had unleashed was undeniable. The world was now aware that they were not alone in the universe. An alien craft had descended into Earth's atmosphere, But it wasn't just a single ship. It was a message. The message was clear. We are watching you, and you are not ready. But what did that mean? What were the aliens preparing to do? Were they a threat, or was there some hope for peaceful contact? As the days passed, the world's military forces began to mobilize. There was fear in every major capital, but there was also an undercurrent of something more, something unspoken. Humanity had never encountered anything like this, and yet, for the first time in history, Earth's people stood together in the face of the unknown. The alien fleet, a massive armada of ships far larger and more advanced than anything Earth had ever seen, hovered just beyond the Earth's atmosphere. Their presence cast an eerie shadow over the world. The spacecraft, sleek and menacing, shimmered with a faint blue glow. Hundreds of ships surrounded Earth, seemingly waiting for the next move. The galactic overseers, including Marnak, had arrived, ready to take control of Earth's power. They were not here to negotiate. They were here to claim Earth's power as their own. They had come to assess the situation, and they had come to prepare for humanity's inevitable rise, or fall. Marnak stood in the command center of the lead ship, staring at the planet below. His thoughts were clouded with conflicting emotions. On one hand, Earth's newfound power was a threat to the established order of the galaxy. On the other hand, it was clear that humanity had no idea what they were dealing with. If left unchecked, the power beneath Earth could destroy everything. His mission was clear: prevent humanity from unlocking this power without guidance, and, if necessary, take control. But as Marnak's ship hovered above Earth, something began to stir in him. He had been sent here to assess and neutralize, but there was something about Earth, about its people, that felt different. They were young, yes, but there was a rawness to their spirit, a fierce determination that was impossible to ignore. "Activate the communication relay," Marnak ordered. His voice echoed through the ship's darkened bridge. The image of the human leader, President Emily Hunter, appeared on the screen. Her face was stern but resolute. "This is President Emily Hunter. I speak on behalf of the people of Earth. We demand to know your intentions. Why have you come?" Marnak's eyes softened slightly as he looked at the screen. The human leader did not seem frightened, despite the overwhelming force that hovered above her planet. Instead, she appeared resolute. For the first time in his life, Marnak felt a fleeting sense of respect. "We've come because of what you have unleashed," Marnak said, his tone measured. "The energy beneath your planet is more powerful than anything we've encountered. It is unlike anything in your galaxy. If left unchecked, it could become a threat to the balance of the universe." "I'm aware of the power you speak of," President Hunter replied, her voice unwavering. "But you are mistaken if you think we are unprepared. Humanity may not have the technology you do, but we have something you can never understand. We have the will to survive, to stand up for what is ours." Marnak's expression darkened. "You do not understand the consequences of your actions. The power beneath your world cannot be contained. It was never meant for your species. We'll decide that for ourselves," she said firmly. "If you want to take Earth's power, you'll have to go through us." Marnak's gaze narrowed. He could sense the determination in the human leader's eyes. Despite their limited knowledge of the power they had unlocked, humanity's spirit was undeniable. It wasn't just about survival. It was about protecting their future, their home. "We did not come to destroy you, President Hunter," Marnak said, his voice softening. "We came to protect you. But if you refuse to cooperate, we will have no choice but to take control." Back on Earth, President Hunter's words were met with a wave of mixed emotions. The people of Earth were terrified, but they were also unified in a way they had never been before. This was humanity's moment. Their entire future was on the line. The world's governments had agreed to take a united stand, no longer divided by borders and politics, but by the need to protect their planet. They would not let it fall to any alien force, no matter how powerful. As the alien fleet loomed closer, Earth's militaries scrambled to prepare for the worst. But there was something they hadn't expected. a united front from humanity. The world's scientists, engineers, and innovators had come together, pooling their knowledge and resources to create something that could match the alien threat. They had reverse-engineered some of the technology from the mysterious craft that had appeared in the Pacific. They didn't fully understand it, but they knew it was their only chance. Mara Collins, who had once been a lone researcher, now found herself working alongside the world's brightest minds in a desperate attempt to develop a weapon strong enough to stand up to the alien fleet. She didn't fully understand how it worked, but she knew that the energy source beneath the Earth's surface could be harnessed, and they needed to use it to protect their home. "We're ready," she said, her voice steady as she addressed the assembled military leaders and scientists. "We've developed a weapon that can harness the energy beneath the Earth's surface. It's unstable, but it's our only chance." "Will it work?" President Hunter asked, looking at her intently. "It has to," Mara replied. "If we don't stop them now, there will be nothing left to save." As Marnek's fleet continued to descend, the tension was palpable. Earth's fate hung in the balance. The alien forces were confident, too confident, but humanity was about to show them just what it meant to be underestimated. The first blast from the human weapon was a surprise. It came without warning, a massive surge of energy that blasted into the atmosphere, striking the lid ship of the alien fleet with a brilliant flash. The force was enough to rattle the alien ships, sending shockwaves across space. The weapon was untested, and its power was unpredictable. But it had worked. Marnek's ship shook violently as the energy wave hit. His crew scrambled to regain control, but it was too late. The first strike had opened a window of opportunity. Humanity had shown that they could fight back, that they weren't going down without a struggle. "We're under attack," one of Marnek's officers shouted. "The humans have weapons we didn't anticipate." Marnek's mind raced. He had underestimated humanity. They weren't just a species to be watched. They were a species that had the potential to rise above the stars. Their determination had ignited something in him. He had come to Earth to control its power. But now he realized something more important. Earth had the will to control its own fate. But it wasn't over. The battle had just begun. Across the globe, the battle intensified. The skies were filled with alien ships, their advanced weapons firing relentlessly. Earth's military forces fought with everything they had, pushing back against the superior technology of the invaders. But it wasn't just their weapons that made humanity stand out. It was their unity. For the first time, the people of Earth were fighting as one, unwilling to let their home fall into the hands of anyone who sought to control it. Marnek watched as the battle raged below. He had to make a decision. The conflict was escalating faster than he had expected. The humans were relentless, and the power they had unlocked was more dangerous than he had anticipated. In that moment, Marnek realized something profound. Earth had the potential to be more than just a threat. They could be allies. They could be the key to peace in the galaxy, if only they were given the chance. With a heavy heart, Marnek made his decision. He turned to his crew. "Pull back the fleet," he ordered. "We will cease fire. We must offer humanity a chance to join us, not as conquerors, but as partners." The battle on Earth slowed, and the alien ships began to retreat. The humans, exhausted but victorious, watched in awe as the invading fleet pulled back. The conflict was over. For now. President Hunter stood on the steps of her building, looking out at the stars. Humanity had survived. They had stood tall against a force far more powerful than themselves, and in doing so, they had proven that Earth was not just a planet to be controlled. It was a world that would define its own destiny. And in that moment, humanity knew they had not just survived. They had won. Earth had taken its stand, and the universe would never be the same again.